Hello, this is Dogcesy. What's the first thing I do? What's the first thing I see immediately after I finish recording that other video? This. Oh yeah, okay. But yeah, so chapter 9 is coming out, even though I haven't finished chapter 7. But yeah, I guess it's somewhat fine. But yeah, the new banner is so there's the Saileach banner is coming, so I'll be talking about history. So a big disclaimer because my friends didn't actually like they don't think they actually have them because they didn't pull on a banner since they were scared about like the same thing with Chowder happening back then. I'm pretty sure they didn't pull on a banner because they can't they can't exact this because for them to actually spend money like in the CN server is gonna be like the jump through hoops and hoops. So they because of the chowder incident. Kuchikaze probably will cover it more if you want. That one of his more popular video. Because of that, they did not put on the banner. They were trying to save up their orandums in case like there's another a surprise limited operator comes out again. So yeah. So so it's kind of similar to like Rosa. I can't actually talk much about them other than like what I see on paper and what like the other content creators have talked about for the operators. So yeah, to take note I guess. But yeah, so I'll start off with Saileach. Saileach. To be honest, I'm also not too sure how to pronounce his name. Not his, her name. I just accidentally knocked the headphones off my head. Oh well. But yeah, so first Saileach is a Vanguard banner, it's not Vanguard, a flag bearer or standard banner. I'm not exactly sure, but yeah. So like Murta here, stuff like that. I have Murta because I'm comparing the skills with her. So yeah. So first skill, when deployed, she will hold an ensign, which is basically like a flag, and within the surrounding 8 tiles of herself or the flag, the all allied operators gain plus 10 attack speed and enemies have minus 10 attack speed. This is actually quite a big deal. Honestly, is that minus 10 attack speed would actually help us survive a lot more, like survive more, since the enemies attack slower. So yeah. And then for the next, it also help to buff other operators since I guess I don't know, but you may want so you probably also do want to play around it I guess. I have making sure your operators are like in the 8 surrounding tiles of her. But yeah, it's actually quite a good talent if anything else. I don't know, and it actually is further buffed by the potentials by support 5. So I really don't think like most people will be able to get to there unless they actually will on the banner. But yeah. And the second talent is that after a deployment, the next unit that you deploy will have the cost reduced by 2. Which is actually it's actually very good. It actually helps you in your setup a lot. So say for example you deploy Saileach as the first operator, she costs 12. The next operator you want to deploy, like for example, I don't know, Scouter, instead of costing 7 or 8, instead of costing 8, it should cost 6 instead. It's a very big deal. It allows you to deploy your operators faster, which can make a very big deal, especially in like CCs, where there's like the DP regeneration is reduced, stuff like that. So instead of that's the next 2 seconds you deploy your operators faster, you can deploy it up to like 8 seconds faster, stuff like that. So it will actually be a very big deal. If you really want to like experience like how it's like, I believe Elysium. Let me bring up Elysium. Elysium's talent is also that. The sniper operators gain a -2, stuff like that. So yeah. So if you want to have somewhat of an experience of how big 2DP can be, Elysium kinda does do that as well for just but it's only limited to sniper operators and stuff like that. But yeah. So it's actually a very big deal. So yeah, I'll move on to the skills. So skill 1 is the same as all flag bearers. Skill 1, they just stop attacking and then give you a huge amount of DP. And it's if you want to know like the how do I say, like the DP per second stuff like that and all, watch E's video. I'm not exactly, I don't remember which one it was, but I'm pretty sure it was one of E's video where he did go more in depth. There was a Vanguard one, a Vanguard analysis video. But yeah, if you want to know more about it, go watch the video. I guess he breaks down like the DP per second, or just comparing stuff like that by a lot. So yeah, this is the skill they want to go for if you just want pure DP. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be the most DP efficient, like DP per second efficient skill out of all of them, of all three skills. But yeah, as for it's kind of just basic DP printing skill. So yeah, skill 2, where you also pass the ensign. Remember the ensign from the talent. You'll pass the ensign onto an ally with the lowest HP percentage, or basically just lowest HP within range, which is this range, the same as like the Bard's range. And then granting them defense buff, as well as healing them for 35% of Saileach attack every second. From what I've heard, this healing counts as like a passive Regent's healing instead of Mortis, where she's actually just healing them. Yeah. She actually heals them since this is healed by the ensign itself. So it counts as it bypasses like the MET's operators trait, like Mud Rock, Pelaga, stuff like that. At least that's what I've heard. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't played before yet. And none of my friends have it. Like none of the 2 friends that play C and have her as well. Since they did not pull on a banner, since they're worried about the counter stuff, counter like reoccurring. But yeah, so I don't know, to be honest. As for like the healing, compared to Mortis, it's actually comparable. Since as you see for both of them at rank 7, it's 35% attack, and the attack is actually quite similar at like max level at E230. Mortis having 471, and Saileach having 487. So it's actually quite comparable. I mean, Saileach does gain some attack thrust, but the healing is actually quite comparable if you just want to count based on just healing. So yeah, that's kind of that, I guess. But yeah, he's actually quite good. Actually, he's actually a very good talent if you want to keep like certain operators alive, especially in the early game, but you may not have the DP to, like for example, like deploy your healers, stuff like that yet. You're trying to get your DPS, like your sniper, your crews, even your casters like Aya or them down first. Because you need the DPS to help your Vanguard survive. That could also be the case. So this will actually help to kind of keep your operators alive, especially with the defense buff. Like more so than Mortis would, actually, to be honest. I'm pretty sure this even further increase as well. Yep. So yeah, this is actually a very good skill for you to fight in the early game for you to help keep your operators alive, as I just say. If anything, this seems to be the skill that most people tend to use in general content, apparently, at least according to like Reddit and other forums. This actually tend to be the skill that most people use Saileach for, unless or skill 1 to PvP. And then skill 3, which is actually the skill from what I've heard from like content creators and even from my Reddit itself. It's the skill that most people use for high CC or against certain or in specific maps, since it's very specific. But since the DP it does produce is actually very low, and the use cases are very specific. So yeah, so they throw the ensign onto the location of a ground enemy. As far as I'm aware, the targeting should be the enemy closest to the blue box, dealing physical damage to the enemy and nearby enemies, stunning them as well as stunning them for some over 3 seconds or 3.5 and if you have masteries on it, and then inflicting slow and weakening effect to the enemies within the 8 surrounding tiles of the ensign. As well as the fact you do remember this one as well and this as well. So the ensign itself will still give like the buff of the talent itself as well. So you do want to take note of that as well. But yeah. So there is kind of like the biggest thing that people will tend to like compare stuff and all. Is that the stun will actually can help to like extend the duration of Ash, since most often than not Ash skill 2 will end before she unload the stun will end from the skill 2 will end before she finish unloading all her bullets. So they can actually help to extend the stun duration to help Ash to ensure Ash gets the damage bonus for all 31 bullets of hers. But in general, it's actually a very good skill. Stunning them, can help stagger or like attack cancel bosses, as well as the weakening effect. It can actually help amplify the damage that the operators are dealing. Do take note that the weakening effect, as you see, it doesn't stack. So your other operators like Suzerain, which applies the weakening effect, or like Pramanics, where it's also weakened. In fact, they would not stack. The paramedic skill debuff would still do, but yeah, just take note of that. So it will not, the weakening effect will not stack. It will just take, the highest one will take priority, which in the case is most likely one skill 3. But the weakening effect is further increased and with masteries. So I'm not exactly sure how big the masteries are actually. Like I said, since my friend doesn't have her, so they haven't really played much around with her. Other than like think was one of the CCs with the Crown Slayer, I think her name is. Yeah, with Crown Slayer, like stunning Crown Slayer, so the Silvers can finish off and stuff like that. But other than that, they haven't really played much with Saileach as well. So I can't really say much about the skills. I can only say what I know on paper and what content creators has mentioned. Maybe what I've read on Reddit as well, which isn't much since I don't frequent Reddit too often. But yeah. But overall, I believe Saileach is actually a very strong operator, and I will be spending some. I will do some pulls on the banner as well, though not much. It's like I said, I do want to save for altar. So that's something to take note of. But I will pull a bit here and there, especially since I will have some money for my internship to actually spend on the game. So I may not be as big of a trouble if I spend too much on this banner like for an altar. But I would much rather not spend too much on games, since even right now, inflation is catching up. Like even right now, like all the dishes are getting more and more expensive. And then back then, like the bowl of fried rice they used to cost $4 now cost $5. $1 may not seem much. Over like every day you eat, the $1 stack that adds up. So I'm much rather not spend too much on the game itself, but I am starting mentorship, so I will getting some money like per month. So it might not be the worst thing to spend in the non-auto banner. So either way, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to spend on money. So entertainment is helpful after all. But yeah, Saileach, at least from what I've heard from content creators, is a very useful operator for support. She's just like Murder, she's not going to like solo Patriot. To help support, to help ensure your other operators can actually kill Patriot faster and stuff like that. So yeah, Saileach is going to be actually a very strong operator. And then next is Mulberry. As I mentioned, both of my friends that play CN does not have Mulberry. So yeah. So I can't say much about her. I guess I can only say what I see on paper. Since even if I check my Reddit or content creators, they don't really talk much about Mulberry, to be honest. Like at least Roberta, there is people talking about it since she I really don't know why no one talks about Mulberry, but because of that I don't really have much to like reference. But yeah, I guess I'll just talk about what I see and stuff like that. So yeah. So basically she's a wandering medic where the range tile is this big thing. Like yeah, because of that they do have lower attack as well. relatively low attack, but you don't use them for the really use them for the healing. Use them more for this. Like their basic attacks will also heal elemental damage equals to 50% of their attack. So yeah, and they can target like full health enemies if they have elemental damage to actually heal off their elemental damage. So yeah, that's actually very useful. The elemental damages are like stuff like neural damage from Arknights, corrosion damage from Dogcesy Holiday, stuff like that. And burn damage, I'm pretty sure is something new with Chapter 9, the flamethrower enemies. So yeah, it's good. I would say it's actually gonna be very beneficial. It can help ease out a lot of stuff, especially when you revisit like Arknights like story like the stages. If you want to, or like Dogcesy Holiday, or when they reintroduce the same mechanics, this would actually greatly help out. It will ease off a lot of like the timings, maybe mix. I'm not exactly sure whether Arknights will be one. There is a chance it will, since from what I heard from CN, the what's the name? The Walk in the Dust is rerunning, so it's possible that Arknights may rerun. So if that's the case, Mulberry would actually help us out to get some of like the trim matters where you cannot activate the machine, like the conversion damage machine more than how many times of that. So Mulberry would actually help maybe help some of the some of us with less build operators to actually get the trim medals. So yeah, the elemental damage is actually going to be very beneficial for at least from what I've heard. So I'll move on to the trait, not the trait, the talent. When Mulberry and at least one other medic operator is deployed, all medic operators gain 10% attack, which I don't think the past me will be gladly take advantage of it, but the current me not really. I found myself that I don't really deploy more than one medic more often than not. Especially since I'm bringing Scouter along a lot. So it's kind of like one medic and one Scouter. Or a lot of times like that. So I haven't found myself really like, or even then I just sometimes just use Scouter only or just one medic. So because I never really found myself bringing like two medics like often anymore, even though I used to do a lot back then. But that's probably back then where because I haven't really built up my operators a lot. So I keep constantly lacking like the damage to kill the operators fast enough, so my defenders and guards keep taking more damage than they should be taking. So yeah, that's kind of something I guess, but it's actually a very nice talent. It's actually a very nice talent. Cosmetics by themselves already have relatively low attack compared to the health of the operators themselves. So yeah, a very nice talent. And I just move on to the skills. So skill 1, where here charge charge holding skill. So you can only hold one charge at rank 7, and you'll gain the extra charge, your second charge at with your mastery switch. So I guess actually M1 is actually gonna be important. I'm not too sure. Like I said, none of us own Mulberry, so you can't really talk based on experience. But yeah, so basically just per second, every 5 seconds you gain one charge. The next heal will heal increased healing as well as increased elemental damage recovery. And I'll prioritize the target with the highest elemental damage taken instead of HP, I guess. So yeah, quite good of a skill, I guess. Actually a very good skill if anything else. It's like the immediate, because I believe the second skill has very long cooldown. So yeah, or just the immediate healing, I guess. Only having like one or two operators to heal up, they will definitely be very useful. I guess the move on. I don't really know what else to talk about, like I said, to be honest, that I haven't talked about already. So in fact, because we don't have really experience, so I can't say like which certain maps will be useful, or against which certain enemies, since I don't know yet. But yeah, skill 2. Greatly reduce the attack interval, reduced to 33%, or 26 at M2 above. You are prioritize targets with basically allies with the highest elemental damage taken. as well as all allies in attack range receive less elemental damage, which I'll say is actually very useful. But yeah, this seems this is actually going to be a very good skill for burst healing, which is the attack interval reduction will also help you out with this, so you'll be healing more, so actually also be healing more elemental damage, as well as them taking less elemental damage itself. At least on paper, from what I can see, this is actually a very strong skill. Very good burst skill. Kind of like Ceylon skill 2. Like mixed with Whispering skill 2. You get what I mean? But yeah, this seems to be a very strong skill for both healing as well as elemental damage. I'm not exactly sure. I kind of thinking about whether they can actually survive like the firestorm for Tarula in chapter 8. I actually wonder if this can actually help to keep them alive. I'm honestly kind of curious. Wait, Tarula doesn't give burn damage. Burn damage is unique to chapter 9. Tarula from chapter 8. What was I saying? I don't know. Ah yeah, everything. At least it looks good on paper. Because I really don't know to be honest. Like I said, no one's talking about Mulberry, so I really can't compare. I don't have any point of reference to compare as anything like that. So yeah. So take everything for grain of salt, I guess. Once everything I'm saying about Mulberry. But at least as far as I can tell, Mulberry seems to be very good. Seems to be very well bred, a very good operator for Medic, both in terms of the amount of healing that she can give, as well as the amount of elemental damage, like protection and recovery that she provides. So yeah, I guess the only one thing I will say about Mulberry is that she's quite frail. But other than that, yeah, Mulberry actually seems to be a very strong operator. So yeah, Roberta is an artificer or something like that. Artifact user or something like that, I don't know. Basically, just call them ground supporter. It's pretty much what everybody used to call her. Yeah, ground supporter. So you can deploy her on the ground and she has this range. I went to load up the stats. Okay, never mind, my bad. But yeah. And she can use the support devices, which in the case is a stylus. She'll deploy with 3 and can deploy a maximum of 3. The stylus grant defense 30% up, as well as having 2 shields to the melee unit that she's buffing. So yeah, the stylus will last for 25 seconds. Afterwards, they'll just automatically or is it the shield? I'm not too sure what's the wording here, but I'm pretty sure that it's further increased with potentials. That really means the stylus lasts for like 25 seconds, while the shield only lasts. The shield or defense buff only lasts for 25 seconds. I'm not too sure. I'll probably need to look them up. I'll probably try her out when she comes, since like I said, I will be putting on the banner at least somewhat. Hopefully I'll be able to get her within like 10-20 pulls. But yeah, I'll just talk about the skills. So skill 1, Roberta herself gains increased attack and increased defense, which I guess isn't bad, especially since you know, she is like a ground deployable unit. And does actually have quite good stats of anything else. So you can kind of use her like a mini guard that doesn't do much else. I guess so. It's actually not bad of a skill, I guess. But I haven't seen anyone actually use the skill 1 actually. So I just don't care about it. I guess I'll just talk about skill 2. Where she stops attacking enemies and gain an increased block count, so from 2 to 3 or even more if you're playing if you're playing IS and have some of the artifacts, is what they call it? Like some of the artifacts to buff block. As well, yeah, so we can maybe increase it even further, but we'll increase block count to 3 in general cases, as well as increasing defense by 50%. And when the skill in, she gains 1 styler. So from what I've heard, this is the skill that most people use. Basically, these skills will help mix her into like a semi-tank, into like a pseudo defender, which is actually definitely useful. But yeah, If anything, this is the skill effort that people tend to use more often than not. The stylers using it to help like ensure like some of your certain operators survive, like your super skill tree. It does debuff the defense, the skill tree, and then stuff like all your like your range units like your scouters to survive more. His scouter is actually not that bulky, and stuff like that. So from what I've heard, this is actually a very strong skill. Like the support that the styler can provide is actually very strong. So the fact that skill 2 actually helps you to refresh and regain back the styler itself is very strong. Your block count and defense can help you to store enemies as well, where other operators secure stuff like that, you know. But at least on paper, they seem to actually be very well thought out. Like all three of them on paper, they seem to be very well thought out operators. And if anything, this is also some of like a first impression, if anything, in case you guys did not know. I have like somewhat skimmed through the operator stuff, skills and stuff and all, but I haven't really looked directly too much into it. So yeah, if anything, it seems to actually be quite a strong operator. In any case, I should, yes, I'll wrap them up now, as far as I can tell. So, I guess I'll wrap them up, yeah. Saileach, which is pretty much all I've heard about for this banner, the mostly what I've heard about this banner. Skill 1 is the basic generic DP printing skill, but out of the 3 skills, it is the most DP per second efficient skill. So yeah, and then skill 2 is the general skill that people tend to use for, at least according to Reddit, where the defense buff and healing can help your operator to survive in the early game, while you like deploy and build up your not build up while you deploy your operators and stuff like that. So it's actually the general skill that people tend to use Saileach for. And then skill 3 is where people use it against like in specific cases like when they want to kill the boss faster or in CC. Which since it does a lot of support, does stunning, slowing and weakening to the enemies. So yeah. As far as I can tell, a very strong 6-star operator. It does all support. So yeah, and then I'll move on to Mulberry. A good first addition for the Wandering Medic archetype. So yeah, when they heal, they also heal of elemental damage equals to 50% of their attack power of their attack. So here very strong. Skill 1, from what I've heard, no one ever talks about it. I mean, I guess it's a good introductory skill to the fact of how elemental damage can be healed, I guess, if you want to talk about it that way. But skill 2 is the one that most people tend to talk about since it reduces the attack interval, so they heal the elemental damage even faster. We also have the fact there's elemental damage resistance as well. So yeah, from what I've heard, this is the skill that most people tend to use for, and it's actually a very strong skill. And then Roberta is actually a fine addition, the fine first addition to the Artificer archetype, where the stylus actually does provide a very much utility, helping your operators to survive. Helping your operators like your silver skill tree, where they defense are debuffed to actually survive more hits and stuff like that. And then the skill 1 is a good introductory skill, I guess, to a ground supporter since it's only buffing only her herself, basically making her into a pseudo guard. But skill 2 is the general skill that people use for, since it gives back one styler, which is what most people use her for the utility that the stylers provide. The block count and defense buff is also quite a good one to actually help to store your enemies, to help ensure, I guess, something like that. I don't know. I haven't used her, so I don't really know the use cases. And none of my two friends that play C and have her as well. We did not pull on the banner. But yeah, that is flat down. At least far on paper, all 3 of them are actually very strong. How strong are they actually in practice? I wouldn't really know until I try them out. So yeah, I may talk more about them, I guess, in the future. But at least for now, if we're gonna pull on a banner, to be honest, I can't argue. So yeah. This has been Dogcesy. Bye bye.